little closer.
Please.
A little closer.
Joy, come here. So I can hug you.
Yeah, I want to hold you too.
It doesn't feel like Sunday, does it?
No.
Thank you, guys. Grab a seat. Grab a seat.
Yeah, grab a seat. Grab a seat.
Yeah.
We're going to be here for a few minutes.
That's my upline right there.
What's up, gents? We're going to have a good time.
We're going to have a great time.
And, yeah, you go.
Who's ready to have a great time?
Say that again, Jonathan. Say that again.
Who's ready to have a great time?
So, we are here today just kind of talk to you a little bit for the next few minutes about what does it look like working in different parts of your business in the sense of building a relationship and starting to foster communication, and what we've taken from our uplines and how we've helped pass that along down to into our downline and into people that we're working with on a regular basis. So obviously we have New Emeralds, Robert, part of Robert and Myra up here. We have Mr. Zelaya with Jonathan and Vanessa Zelaya. They just broke their first platinum organization with Fatima Asensio.
Where's the Asensio team at?
And we'll kind of get things kicked off. It's cool to be up here with them, and it's a special moment to be able to be side by side with them. If you see me leaning into Robert, he did something with his hearing aid, so I'm going to make sure that I might be whispering in his ears. And but just to kind of get things started off, thinking about some of the things that we've learned from our leadership. And what does that look like when you're passing it along to your downline? And, you know, the biggest thing, and Vinny talks about it, is you never want to, like, delegate the building of your organization to your downline, but what you can disseminate is the lessons that you learned from your upline until you're in a position, in a spot, that it makes sense where you're able to have that trust and that belief that they're going to do, you know, the right thing if they're going to work with their team. So for myself, learning from Anthony, you know, and I'm going to talk about the men because I've had a lot of conversations with them over the years, and with Anthony, Tony, and Vinny. The things I learned is grace. One of the things I learned was having grace. It was going above and beyond and serving your team at a level that people have never been served before. And that was some of the biggest things that I was hoping to transmit to not just Robert, but to our entire organization and to the entire system, right? Because if we can have the heart and the grace to just know that people are trying to do their best, it's our responsibility to help them move to the next level, whether it's a pin or it's just the next part of becoming a better IBO. And those were like the base fundamental things that I had that I was hoping to go this way. And when you find a couple like a Robert and Myra who they don't need the hand holding, they're willing to take initiative, they're willing to be they're willing to, you know, go out there and make mistakes. It makes it that much easier. So I'll throw it over to Robert to see, you know, things that you may have learned from your uplines and then that you've passed down to Jonathan and Vanessa and your other groups.
Yeah, I know. And you know what you just mentioned, such a powerful word, grace. And that goes upline, downline, right? And, you know, hearing about that, learning that from you, and always talking about, like, we had to have grace for our people. They're doing anything they can and whatever they can to build not only the business, but first build themselves, so they can keep pushing and moving their life forward, but also understanding that we also have to have grace with our upline, because we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. And that grace, learning that when we're in the right place with the right heart and understanding those principles, whenever something that you might do not like happens, you're still open to communication. You're still open to learn. You're not just closing the door to trying to understand the point of view of your upline, who's, by the way, has probably gone through or has helped somebody to go through whatever it is that is you guys might be talking at that time. And then being able to take that and say, okay, so this is what I need to do with the people in my team. And passing that on to them and say, hey guys, we're gonna make mistakes. Sometimes we're gonna say things that you might get it one way because of where you are right now. And just give us the grace to have a conversation, because we understood that the feeling, the emotion that hurt us the most is the one that we don't talk about. So I wanted our team, I wanted Jonathan to learn and get what I got from Sean, what I got from Anthony. So and I tell you, it will happen because we had those conversations. Yep. Where we don't see eye to eye, where, whatever might be happening at any specific time in your business or in your life. But just giving that grace to your upline to be able to sit down, have a conversation and cry together, but fix it. So we can continue moving forward and building together. Not only a business, but our friendship, our relationship. I love these two men like brothers, and I'll do anything for them. But it didn't start that way. We have had the conversations. And that's the type of relationships that Mayra and we wanted it to build as we were also building a business. So grace and just being open to communicate whenever you don't feel like it, because you don't like what he said.
That's true.
Jay.
Well, for me, something that I learned from Robert was knowing that when we met, we didn't know each other. It was a cold contact.
Yes.
And Vanessa and I saw that they invested 8 weeks through a vetting process. And then after that, they invested many, many hours and a lot of time in us. And I just could never understand that they were going to do something that it was not going to benefit us. It's hard for somebody that has invested time, relationship, wants us to succeed, to do something that's going to harm us. It's not going to happen. Like Robert said, doesn't mean we're perfect or they're perfect, because nobody's perfect, right? They're going to do their best, but like Robert said, Vanessa and I gave them the grace to say, okay, listen, this is how I received it. This is what I felt. And it came down to it was just us, making those ideas, and our mind will tell us something completely different what they meant to say. So if you have an upline, which everybody does, you went through a process, which everybody went through a process, they're investing time sitting down with you, doing your budget, helping you build your business. They're investing time. They're investing, like Mayra says, their life into you. They're not going to want to harm you. They're not going to want to do something that goes against of you succeeding.
Yep.
So
that's good. That's good. And when Jonathan was talking about the education process, I remember you at your first GE. And he was sitting in the front row.
I got long socks now, so.
I was going to say it. He was sitting there in the front row. He had white ankle socks with his nice dress shoes on. And I'm like, Robert, we got to get him some socks. He was excited, but
I got a lot of socks now.
He's got good style.
I get creative too.
He is the El Salvadorian Charlie Duracell, I think, right? Could that be?
Hey, it's a big bar.
It is. But I just remember you sitting there and just being so excited to be a part of something, to grab it, because it's out there for all of us, and it's out there for the people that go through an education process. But Jonathan was willing to grab it. Same thing with Robert when he sat inside the living room in Huntington. He was going to grab it and take it. And part of that, they knew that there was going to be challenges and there was going to be growth that needed to happen, right? And as we move out of that and you start to build your business and you start to develop a relationship with your coach and with your team, you got to start to think about what does the success in that relationship look like to you? Because success in sports isn't pretty. It takes a lot of tears, injuries, the ups and downs. It's the same thing in a coaching relationship with whether you're coaching upline or you're getting coaching from upline or you're coaching downline. There's going to be pain. So you have to be willing to define, okay, what does success look like for me as a downline getting coached? Maybe that is I'm receiving the feedback, even though I don't like it, I'm going to implement it, because it's their perspective. And you have the right to make your own decision and choose if you want to use the guidance or not. Nobody's forcing you to do anything with it. They're giving you perspective from what they had. And then you got to think about, what does success look like when you're coaching your team? What are they going to walk away from the conversation with? So for both of you, I'll throw it back over to you for this one. What would success look like first in your upline, downline, like getting coaching with your upline relationship, and then success look like coaching your downline?
Yeah. Well, I think this is the way it was for Myra and I. It is today, and it still will be in the future. Because when we came into a room like this and we started going to, at that time we were doing GEs in a living room.
In a living room.
And today, actually nowadays, today, we feel privileged when we earned the ability and the time to be able to go into you guys' living room or Anthony's living room. But I think that success in that sense for Myra and I has been built a relationship with our upline where we feel so comfortable coming to them and telling them this is how we're feeling about this. Knowing that they're not gonna judge us and that they're gonna do the best they can to help us, guide us, correct us, even though that's the part I didn't like at all.
Yeah.
That was probably the most difficult thing for me, was to get correction because of my ego and my pride and, coming in with 3 college degrees and all that stuff. I'm like,
And I have no college degrees. I'm just a basic dude with no real formal education. So,
but realizing that in this arena, they're the ones that knew. They know how to do it. They know how to build it. They know how to make it work. I didn't. But being able to build that relationship where having the difficult conversations, the crucial conversations where they were needed, knowing what Jonathan just talked about, that they're not going to do anything to hurt us. They want us to succeed. We are where we are today because of their guidance, their help, because of the conversations. But what I feel most happy about it is because of our relationship. That's the most, being up here with Sean, I'm like, it's like, I'm like, man, this is like a dream from where we started in that living room when you did that GE for us, your very first GE. And I was sitting there, Myra was on Zoom, and this man was doing his first GE. And today here we are on stage talking to thousands of people. That being on stage is not success for me. Being on stage with you is success, brother. Right.
And I had that in my notes too, by the way. For me, success just, comes down to this moment right here, right now. Because I'm the luckiest out of the 3 because I got 2 of my uplines sitting down here. And for me to know that I have earned their trust, their time, and their friendship to ask me to sit down with them with 2 giants in the business and the opportunity, like Sean Luke and Robert Cardona. For me, I'm like, this is what success is in a relationship. Because like Robert said, 6 years ago for Vanessa and I, we were sitting down in Robert and Mara's living room, and Sean and Kayla were doing the GE, and just getting to know Sean and Kayla's story, and just knowing wow, I still look up to him just the same way I looked up to him 6 years ago.
That's right.
Doesn't matter what has happened in the last 6 years. I look up to him, and for me, I don't have an older brother. For me, Robert and Sean are my older brothers, and I look up to them. I think that's what really success is. Just building a relationship where I'm not a question mark to Robert and Sean. They don't ask themselves, is Jonathan going to go to the conference this weekend? Or is Jonathan going to do his ditto? Or is he going to communicate if something doesn't go right in their business? See, I'm not a question mark to them. And to me, that is success, knowing that I have earned their trust.
That's good.
That's good.
That's good. Very well said. And the thing is we're talking about really good relationships now, and they continue to improve. That's not where it starts. So if you think that that's where you should be right now with your coach, it may be good at the beginning, but there's going to be the ups and downs. Success has ups and downs. Relationships have ups and downs. For us, we've evolved over the last 8 years, 6 years, and with their significant others, and with Kay, and with Anthony and Cal, we've evolved over the years to be in a position now where we could talk like this. There was a period of time where you couldn't get Robert and Jonathan in a room with me or Anthony, because there was conflict, but we worked through it. We didn't have conflict and just say, too bad. We didn't have conflict and then just talk trash behind the scenes. There was disagreements that were healthy, that needed to happen, and we worked through them. Whether it was through different sessions, it was through phone calls, it was through meetings, so we evolve. So I'll just throw it to you guys first. How was it when there was a conflict in the coaching downline or upline downline relationship? How'd that make you feel, so everybody could have a picture of that? And then what made you want to work through it?
Mm-hmm. I think that the word that you just used, evolved, was and is still today key point in our relationship. When we start, like at the beginning, it wasn't that way. Like, imagine this is my gringo friend, right? I'm a Colombian dude, and we have different perspectives on things.
Yeah.
Starting from the music that we're gonna put at the G, right? It's like, we're gonna go wild. You're like, no, you can do that. You're like, okay. But part of it for us was a little of the cultural shock of how different things, were done and the way that communicate and everything. I'm like, well, in that sense, we are about the same. I love to hug, and I love to be close to you and squeeze you a little bit. And like, yeah, man, this is my bro. But sometimes it's like you had like a little difference on something, and it's like you kind of like, I don't like it anymore. So now I'm not gonna hug you. And so it feels, at a point it felt like a high school relationship.
It was. It is.
There he is. I don't like it. But maturing, growing to the point where through the resources from the system, through the conversations with your upline, you could come to the table. And even though there were differences and perspectives and the way we thought about how things should be done, at the end of the day, what we valued the most was the relationship. I want always to feel this man like my brother. I know he's my upline, and I had the utmost respect for him, for Anthony, and everybody in our upline. But when it comes to this relationship, I want to feel it always like, this is my brother. And I can come to him and I can talk to you and I can tell you anything about the business or what's happening in life, because I know I'm going to get a perspective from you that is going to help me to continue moving forward and growing. And then I wanted to pass that on to Jonathan as my downline, where it has been the same situation. It's just the way it works. It's like Sean just said, you might not be at that spot where you're like, oh, this is my buddy, this is my brother, but you're upline. But that's my opinion. That's where you want to grow to be, where you're upline. With your coach, with your mentor, where even though, we are both Latinos, but this guy is from El Salvador. I'm from Colombia.
There's a difference.
That's very different stuff going on there.
Different food, different dialogue.
And Jonathan has his strength, and he's a strong man, a strong leader.
I might not look like it, but I am.
He makes up on leadership what he lacks on.
Okay, you can say it.
But having that the same idea in my mind, that's the relationship I want to have with Jonathan. I want him to look at me and Myra like, we are your brother, and we are here to help you. We're here to guide you. We're not here to judge you or hurt you. But I think Danielle just said it. The only way you're going to grow and make those things really happen and get good at it is when you have the experience, when you go through that. So when we had those moments where we don't agree on things, we just give ourselves the space. And then what we really want to do is come to the table because we want to continue growing, because we want to fix whatever is going on, but also because we value our relationship. And that's the reason we come with an open heart and willing to listen. and then willing to apply. That's going to be a journey. I'm not saying this is going to happen just because you heard this from stage. No, it's going to be a journey. And then you're going to get to that spot where you're going to be able to be under the power of submission to your coach, to your upline. And you start seeing some magic happen when you are at that spot. And that's what we wish for all of you guys, whatever you are right now in your journey.
Absolutely. And we all come to a point in our relationship where we're going to disagree on things. That's not a bad thing. But that doesn't mean that we stop there. Like Robert said, we need to come to the table, find a solution together, meet halfway, because we're adults, right? We're all adults here. If you're building the business, that means you're 18 years or older, that makes you an adult. And we need to mature. And we're responsible. There's a responsibility behind it. We're responsible for our lives, our significant others' lives, our kids' lives. And we lose that right to, okay, like Robert said, we're not in high school anymore. I don't like what you said. I don't talk to you no more. Or we might have family members who are like, oh, I don't like what you said. I don't talk to you no more. It doesn't work like that here. We have a responsibility to our family, to our future, that we can disagree, but like Vinny says, we cannot be disagreeable, right?
Yep.
And that's very important. And just working through things. And I think, Sean, that, when we're at that spot where we had disagreements, talking about it, having the tough conversations that nobody wants to have, uncomfortable conversations, because it will happen. That actually strengthens more the relationship.
Yep.
That makes it more solid, because after those, seasons and those moments, our relationship has gone more strong, and we're more united. We're united with the vision of 10K strong, right?
Yep.
Because it's not about us. Purpose is not about us. It's about something bigger than us, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we work through things, because it's not about us. It's about the team, right? So
That was great.
That's good.
And you have to be willing, whether you're the upline or the downline, whoever you are in the situation, you have to be willing to take ownership. You may be wrong, and that's okay. You may have maybe not delivered a message nicely. You may have gone and gone your old ways and maybe got a little angry. It's okay, but take ownership for it and apologize for it. Because if you don't address that part, if you guys do have some disagreements, that's gonna start to deteriorate your character. And you're gonna need courage. You're gonna need courage to have these conversations, to talk. Courage is just a single choice that you need to make when your confidence hasn't caught up yet. And you need to be willing to have that courage. Just know that on the other side of having the conversations, there's something better. I couldn't imagine if we didn't get on the other side, would we even be willing to be up? We wouldn't even be able to be on stage together if we never got on the other side of this. This conversation wouldn't be able to happen. We wouldn't be excited for the growth. They wouldn't be excited to be around us or the team. But there's always so much fruit and amazing experiences that come after it. And it starts with you starting to develop trust. I'll use trust for the lack of a better word here, but it's that relationship too. Over a period of time. It's things, we've been in the car for 11 plus hours at different times. We've flown together. We've been at qualifiers together. We've been at meetings. We stayed out to 2, 3 in the morning having some of these conversations. So it takes time to get there, like we've been emphasizing this whole talk. Mm-hmm. And I just want you guys to take a few minutes and just talk about what does it look like, or if you can remember back at the beginning, what were some things that you may have seen inside Vinny and Dana, Tony, Anthony, Callan, myself, Robert, for you, and even the Crossline leadership that you saw that made you buy into them and made you trust what they were saying?
Go ahead, Jay.
Well, for me, something that, I really, like you were saying, Sean, was having courage is very important. And I saw men and women that had courage. And courage is not that you're not afraid of things. Courage is that you're afraid of things, but you still do things, especially during difficult times. And we've gone through difficult times. And I've just seen every single one of our uplines, Robert, Sean, Anthony, Tony, and Vinny, go through situations where for Vanessa and I, we felt secure. We knew that your leadership was at a whole different level. And having that trust in you because you had courage and because you were willing to do things and say things nobody else wanted to do, that gave me trust. Because for me, what earned my trust was knowing that even though it wasn't something that I wanted to hear, you still said it. And things like that are going to happen. Your upline is going to say things that maybe you don't want to hear, but you need to hear it. And that has helped us move through it. And just seeing, the transparency in everyone, And I remember Dana said this in an audio, like I said, courage is not being afraid. It's being afraid and still doing it. Because that's what it really makes a true hero. If you think about it, every hero that we know of have superpowers. Yeah. They're not afraid of things. They have superpowers. But what is a true hero? A true hero is is afraid, that does things wrong, that is, clumsy, but it still goes and does what he needs to do to save the day. And for me, you guys, you, Sean, you, Robert, you guys are my heroes. I saw you, Sean, like that first day. I'm like, this guy, it's like, this guy is Superman right here, and Vanessa and I, and the whole Zelaya team, the whole Cardano team just looks up to you so much.
Thank you.
And we love you. We love you and Titi. We appreciate you. And Penelope now, part of the family, we love you. Just seeing you guys, and I was like, one day I want to be like Robert, and I want to be like Sean. I want to be like Anthony. I want to be like Tony, and we appreciate you guys so much. And sometimes, we oversee it, and we don't really realize the effort you guys put behind it. But again, thank you so much for that. I appreciate
that.
Yeah.
I love you guys too.
Brother. No, and you guys think that, Sean doing everything that he does with the team, with the LLC team to put something like this together, the way that he serves to make this possible and make all this happen, that's servitude that I always say to him. You should see him serving his team. And again, Mike and I, we're here because of your servitude and Titi's servitude. And that desire and willingness to always go that extra mile to do things that, we didn't even have to ask. They just did. And as an upline, that's what I want to be to my downline. Mm-hmm. Because that's the example I got from you. And to your point, I remember when Anthony was taking us through the process, he said, listen, Robert, because he was probably seeing my attitude already, I'm an angry one. And he was like, listen, there's going to be times where I'm going to say things that you're not going to like. But just remember this, that's mentorship. I'm not here to tell you what you like to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear so you can move your life forward. To your point, brother, that made me feel safe. Even though I was like, But it was that. And then something that I always appreciate about our leadership is it doesn't matter what could be going on, what could be happening, what time in the business or whatever it is that might be happening, they never pass down negative. It's always positive. They always speak life into us, into you guys. All the leadership, they use this platform to speak life into you and into your business, into your families. No matter what situation we might be going through. Like right now, for our team, we're going through a tough time as immigrants. And when we came into this environment this weekend, all we got was love and encouragement. Keep going, keep growing, prove them wrong. That's what we got from them. And that's what we take in. And that's what we want to be for everybody else out there.
That was good. That was good, both of you. And and you learn. I've learned so much from both of them. Especially if we're going to talk to your organizations, we need to learn from you guys in order to serve your team right. And talk about servitude. I've learned that, and from Anthony and Callan, from Tony and from Vinny. I don't think there are many upline, I'm going to call it like a lineage, that has the servitude bone that the group of people have. Like I said, with Anthony, when I got started, that's all I saw was him willing to do something for others. And like so, when I was in the Air National Guard, our base was in West Hampton Beach, and when you drive in, so that others may live. And when I was here and I saw Anthony serving, I saw Tony inviting me over for pizza. I saw Vinny willing to have the conversations. I saw him inviting people over and just giving their time, energy, and resources when they didn't have to, and making sure that our meetings back then, I wanted to serve at a level like that. And by seeing them give so much, that's what helped me develop trust with them, or really just like blind faith that I was going to follow them. Because they were willing to put themselves out there to make sure that we could all have a better system, a better event, a better business experience. And on top of that, if there was ever an issue or something did happen, the amount of ownership that these men and women have taken when things happen is, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's just an amazing thing to see how much ownership they've taken when things don't go right. And that's something to follow. And I see that in both of you. I see that with Myra. I see that with Vanessa. I see that with all your up-and-coming leadership. I see that with so many people in this room. And I'm just excited for this room, the next event that we have, to grow our numbers by more than 50+%, to go into next year and work towards to go into 10,000 strong. And I believe, and we believe, that when you get these things solid and you have the right relationship upline and downline, your business can thrive. You can ask any of the leadership that's been in here that has grown their business. Once they were lockstep with their upline and their downline, things moved. We love you guys.
Yes, sir. We love you guys.
For the calendar year 2024, the average income from Amway for all U.S. registered IBOs at the Founders Platinum level and below was $723 before expenses. See www.amway.com/income-disclosure for details and the most up-to-date information. Earnings depend on many factors,